Welcome back to Salty Sunshine, everybody. This is your host, Lisa. A little frazzled because I just saw the last episode of Love is Blind, the finale, and wow, just wow. I'm going to talk about spoilers. I'm going to talk about it. But before that, did anyone see Tom Brady post? He's having his second roast coming October 21st. And I got so freaking excited because I thought it was like so good and so funny. And it turns out he's not having a second roast. It's a stupid campaign for an air fryer. That was not cool, Tom. That was not cool. Dad joke. No, like I was so excited. I thought the roast was like everything. And apparently it's not going to happen. So it's only a dumb campaign for the air fryer. So nothing to get excited about. Also, John Stamos was on the Good Guys podcast, which is Ben Soffer, Josh Peck, Claudia Oshry's husband from The Toast, and his friend Josh Peck. So they interviewed John Stamos, and they asked John if he would ever open his marriage to bring Lori Loughlin in. And I'm like, that's kind of a weird question. Why would you ask him if he would open his marriage to bring, I mean, that's kind of disrespectful to his marriage. I'm sure they were joking, kind of, right? So that led to the conversation of John totally defending Lori Loughlin and calling her separated husband a narcissist. His name is Massimo or something. A narcissist, and that every single issue she's ever had in their 28-year marriage has been because of him. Like all their problems stem from him, that he's nothing but a pain in the butt, like terrible guy, and she's an angel and a saint. It's really cute to see him sticking up for her, although he should tread lightly because if they don't end up getting divorced and they get back together, guess who's in the outhouse? John Stamos. So you have to be careful when you do stuff like that because you never know where this is going to go. And if they don't end up getting divorced, and still, even if they do get divorced, whatever. I don't know. Um, I've seen in the tabloids, I don't know if it's true, that she's apparently very devastated. She's super depressed. She doesn't want to go out. She doesn't want to leave her bed, and she's super depressed. So if she doesn't want the marriage to end, that's even worse for John to be saying stuff like this because that means she's still in it, her heart's still in it, and that never goes well either. So we'll see what happens with that. That's a long time, 28 years. It's a long time, it's not a long time. I feel like for everyone that has been in a relationship for 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, when you have kids and you have a full-time job and you have kids and the days go by so quickly, and especially if you live kind of separate lives, like you know how people are very sometimes roommatey, or they just either the mom's off on the weekend at the kids parties and doing whatever, and the guys either fishing, golfing, or watching TV, and then sometimes they kind of like go their days that way, and they kind of just cross paths and they're not really in it together. There's different types of relationships, but I'm talking about the ones that it just really does go by fast. And to me, like if you're married for 20 years, that to me doesn't mean you've been quote unquote really married for 20 years. I feel like there's a lot of people that they have that kind of fly by the night. They don't really interact and it's more routine. And so that's easy to do. It's like having a roommate. So there's 20 years of being in a real relationship, and then there's 20 years of just raising kids, living life, and going through the motions. And to me, that's pretty easy to do when you're not like that involved with each other. So anyways, they were together a long time. It's crazy to think, she's probably late 60s, and I mean, I would just call it a day. I wouldn't even try to date anymore. What's the point? If someone comes your way and it's easy and it lands in your lap is one thing, but to go out there and like give it a go, no thank you. Anyways, also Dance with the Stars. I didn't think it could get better than Dedication Night because Dedication Night was such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful show. I loved it. And Wicked trumped Dedication Night. Wicked Night was a night at the theater. Wicked Night was an experience, and if you haven't seen it and you don't watch Dancing with the Stars, I highly suggest you at least watch this one with your family. If you have little kids, if you have a daughter, they love dance and Disney and Wicked or whatever. It is so good. I like to watch Dancing with the Stars a little later after it starts so I can fast forward through everything. Not this time. I watched it from beginning to end, gleefully, happily. It was amazing. It's really good. They put a lot of work into that show. They had the props and the stage stuff. It was great. Even the opening number. I love it. I love Wicked. I love the soundtrack. It was better than Disney Night for sure. The Disney songs were terrible. Um, they killed it. Alex Earl's dance was my absolute favorite, and everyone's saying that Whitney got the better song popular. Sorry, Alex Earl got the better song because Loathing. It was so good. It was so good. Val's a really good choreographer. Um, I wonder if he gets help from his wife, Joanna. But I think her dance was the best because it was theatrical and she did the whole hair thing and the shake and it was amazing. Whitney's dance was amazing because she had footwork, but not amazing as far as like like what I want to see. Alex Earl's killed it. And then that guy Scott was sent home. And guess who remains? Andy. Andy the comedian, the one that doesn't know how to dance, that just walks around stage. He's still there. That's crazy. What is happening? I fear he might win because whatever following this guy has, which is crazy to me because I don't even know who he is. I mean, I maybe seen his face around. I think he's a comedian, but whatever. Why does he have so many people voting for him? He has the system rigged. Like, what's happening? Because it's 50% votes, 50% voting. I'm sorry, 50% judges score and then 50% public voting. So he gets terrible scores from the judges. So he has to have like a trillion people voting for him, which is crazy. I don't know what's happening. If he wins, I'm dead. I'm dead, dead, dead. I don't know. Anyways, it was amazing. Wicked is coming out now in November, and I'm definitely going to be there. The only thing is, going to watch it in the theater, I always like to wait. When big movies like this annoy me because people make so much noise in the audience. I'm like, I'm paying all this freaking money, and the prices today are not like they used to be. And so, is it worth paying $50 to go watch a movie where everyone's heckling and being loud and annoying? I don't know, right? Anyways, the Kardashians premiered on Hulu, I think Thursday or Friday or this like Wednesday or Thursday this week. I haven't seen it yet. They hinted that Kim talks about the fact that she was diagnosed with an aneurysm. What does that mean? That she's prone to having it like burst? I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I think everything they do is so, especially Kim, it's just so for show. And I feel like I miss their old show when they first started. They were just like raw and themselves, and that was so entertaining. And now everything is so fake. I hate it. Everything's fake and everything is a commercial for their stupid products that they can't stop launching. And I wish they would just stop. Um, so yeah, the Kardashians are back, and then her new show, All's Fair, is coming, I think, sometime in November on Hulu too. So there you go. I'm watching this documentary on Hulu called The John Gacy, whatever that's called. It's the serial killer John Wayne Gacy. The show's called Devil in Disguise, a John Wayne Gacy story. He's a serial killer that killed like 33 boys, and he was like manipulating the cops to try to make it sound like he was schizophrenic or multiple personality disorder, and he was just disgusting, ill. But it's a good, the way they did the documentary, not documentary, the series. It's good because it's accurate to the story, unlike Ryan Murphy's crap that he does on Netflix with Monster the Ed Gein story, which is fabricated baloney, which I don't want to watch. I don't appreciate it. I appreciate shows like this that they do well. Um yeah. I just started it too, and I could tell it's already good. I'm seeing all this stuff about the 432 Park Avenue building in New York, and I just find it wild that people would buy $1 million of a condo and even build something like that when it's just crazy. It's a super tall building, skyscraper. It's just one long straight, and they compare it to kind of the Empire State Building. It's so rail thin. I forgot the numbers that they said, but it's 1,396 height of the feet high, and I don't know. It's just nuts. It has no balconies. So you're paying all this money for no balconies. Apparently, the concrete that the architects, whoever made the building, wanted a certain color, and they kept telling them, well, we need to add more to make it more solid. And but that adding the material would make it a different color. And they said, no, we want the white or whatever. And the concrete's not supposed to be that color. So they left it out, and now it's crumbling all outside the building, and it's going to cost like 100 million or more to fix. And it could be a hazard to the people walking below them because the building's so high. I mean, something falling from that high is, it's like a rocket ship coming down. And I'm just like, how does this happen? How does that get approved? How are they allowed to keep doing these nonsense? I don't like buildings that are weird shaped and all that crap. I just give me a safe building. I don't like it. I don't care for all that crap. Um, it's had all these structural problems. They've had water leaks, elevator breakdowns, facade cracks, and structural stress from the wind. They say that people that live in that building, there's so much sway to the building because it's too thin for the height that people in the shower will like the water will swish from side to side. That's insane. That's insane. I know they're suing these people that made the building, as they should have never let them make the building. Why do we have people in charge if they're not allowed to make things not happen that are ridiculous? They shouldn't have to go through all this because the building should have never been made that way. The condo board has filed lawsuits against the developers and builders alleging more than 1,500 defects and failure to address known problems. Um, it's just crazy. Also, I heard that, the garbage chutes, when you go to the hallway and you throw your garbage in, it falls so hard down to the bottom that it sounds like a bomb going off every time someone throws garbage away. That's just crazy. Everyone hates that building. It's a whole thing. I think there's a TikTok account dedicated to it. It's like its own influencer. That building has its own identity. It's so funny. Everyone knows about it. Everyone hates it. And it's going to be 9 figures to address the problems, and that's just terrible. That's just terrible just because some guy wanted to be silly and think he was cool. It's on Billionaires Row. Yeah, so yeah, they're probably going to make a documentary about building 432 Park Avenue. I wonder who lives there. Are there any celebrities? I heard through the grapevine that A-Rod, the baseball player, the one that was married to J-Lo or engaged, he remember when they caught him, somebody I guess from across the building snapped a photo of him and he was on the toilet. One of these tall buildings that I guess they don't put curtains or anything, and the paparazzi or somebody caught him on the toilet and they took a picture. That's so disgusting. I hate people. I don't know why they think that's okay. It should be legal. But they're saying he was in this building. So I don't know. 432 Park Avenue. This next story before I talk about Love is Blind. Suzanne Summers' late husband, widowed husband Alan Hamill. She passed away 2 years ago, and he's created an AI clone. 2 years after Suzanne Summers died, following a battle with breast cancer, her husband revealed that he is creating an artificial intelligence version of the Three's Company actress. Obviously, Suzanne was greatly loved, not only by her family, but by millions. I hate these stupid skits they put in these articles. Anyways, I don't need all that backstory. I asked her a few questions and she answered them, and it blew me away and everybody else. When you look at the finished one next to real Suzanne, you can't tell the difference. Whoa. So he programmed the AI to act and talk like Suzanne Summers. He's 89 years old. He says, I really can't tell which one is real. That's actually baloney because I'm looking at it and it doesn't look like her at all. He must have lost his eyesight because he's 89. Um, yeah, that's creepy. I wouldn't want that. I don't get it. What is he going to pretend to talk to her? I don't know. What's the point? Um, yeah, people, please don't start doing this. The AI needs to go away. I'm over it, and it hasn't even like really started. I'm done. Um, he said, it was Susan's idea. She said, I think it'll be really interesting. Will provide a service to my fans and to people who have been reading my books and who really want information about their health. Although the Nothing Personal producer, who shares kids with Leslie and Stephen Hamill's with ex-wife Marilyn Hamill, was concerned about his family's reaction, they were all on board with the idea. I feel really good about being able to deliver what Susan wanted and doing so that it'll be something that basically will go on for generations. I think our family loves the idea, really loves the idea. We've talked about it a lot. So it was Susan's idea. Interesting. Wow. So I think he has a new girlfriend. Yeah, I'm fortunate to have Joanna in my life. Most men would love to have a giant Joanna in their life. I don't know where this relationship is going, but what I do know is that being in the cocktail hour of my life, I am blessed with a magnificent family, thanks to incredible Susan, a privileged life, and our business, blah, blah, blah. Wait, is Joanna the AI girl? I'm not, is it a real person or what are we talking about? Although it wasn't easy to begin a new relationship after nearly 40 years with Summers, he recalled the advice she gave him prior to her death. Don't mope around, live your life. Okay, so he's with a real person now. So his new girlfriend has to listen to him talk about his recent wife, deceased wife. That's wonderful. That's creepy. I don't like it. I don't like all these people. Even in that show, Love Thy Neighbor, they're talking to ChatGPT like it's their best friend. Hey, what do you think about this? Write me a story about to respond to this. And what if the guy doesn't do this? It's like I don't like it. I think it's a good tool, kind of like an elevated Google that you ask it questions and you don't have to search through a bunch of articles to find the answer and it kind of just lays it out for you. I think that's really helpful. But other than that, I don't like the friendship, personal relationship part of it. I think it's creepy. I think obviously we've seen really horrible things happen. Like the gentleman, the old man that in New York, he thought he met a girlfriend and he thought she looked like Jessica Alba and he ended up married, by the way. He ended up trying to trek over to Jersey to find her or whatever, and he fell because he had I don't know. He was sick. It's not good. And the other kid that was talking to AI and it assisted him to kind of unalive himself. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to have these fake, non-existent personal relationships with a computer. I don't like it. Okay, let's talk about the last episode of Love is Blind. I was hoping at least one or two people will get married. My God, I don't know. I think probably I'm sure there's been seasons that nobody's gotten married, but if there has, I think it might have happened once, if that. I don't even know if it's ever happened, but it might have happened once. I mean, usually at least one person gets married. This is crazy. So the people I thought were gonna have a chance were Megan and Jordan and Ali and Anton. But so Nick broke up with Annie before the wedding stuff, so that was out. And then Joe broke up with Madison before, so that was out. So the only three people left were Ali and Anton, Edmund and Calibria, and Megan and Jordan. I thought all three could have said yes, possibly, right? Because you never know. But the craziest part of this wedding episode is how they act like they're going to go through with it. The speeches with the parents, the little pep talks, oh my God. So let's talk about Ali and Anton. So she's all dressed up. They show her talking to her friends before, and the friends are totally ragging on Anton's job and how much money he doesn't have. And it's not that he's broke. She says he makes good money, but it's not like good money. And the friends are like, "Are you sure about this?" Like you could tell they're very financial focused on guys, and they were totally disrespecting him. Let's be real. And if she really cared about him, she would have shut that down and she just stayed quiet. She kind of just said, "Oh no, he makes good money. He makes really good money." And she's like, "Well, maybe not really good, but good money." And see, that's not cool. So, but then so Anton's mom, she's the sweetest little. I love her. She makes me like him more because he rubs me a little the wrong way, but his mom makes me like him more. And she's just like she makes it like she makes him look better. And she was so emotional and she didn't want him to get his heart broken. And she goes in and talks to Allie, and Allie just keeps telling her, I love him so much. I really love him. She lied. Why are you telling the mom that? Like reassuring her that you're gonna go through with this kind of. Like you should have just said, I'll make my decision when I get up there, whatever feels right. And, I loved getting to know him and whatever happens. Like she should have been a little more transparent. It was shocking when she got up there and she said no. I thought she was going to say yes. She kept saying, I love him. I love him in the interview backstage. I love him. I love him so much. Why would she? It was overkill. I don't get that part. What do they tell them to do that? I don't like that because it's really shocking when she said no. He said yes and he was all on board and he was so excited and he was even telling his friends and his mom beforehand. What if she says no and I'm not whatever, and the mom's like, you're gonna be okay, and if she says no and life goes on, and the friends like the same thing. But I felt really bad for him because I do think what I don't like when people end things and say I love you so much and end things. Don't say that. You leave that part out and you just say I didn't love you enough, or it's not the kind of love that moves us forward, or I don't know, just leave that out. You're just not the person for me. This doesn't feel right. You don't have to say I love you at all because that doesn't make sense. You can't tell someone I love you and I want to break up with you. That makes no sense because real people that are really in love will try to make it work. So I don't know. And I've seen before too in Love is Blind weddings when someone says no, they kind of hook up after the wedding, like in the dressing room, and they'll talk for 5 minutes, kind of explain themselves, and they didn't this time. Nobody did. And I thought that was interesting. At least they didn't show us if they ever went back. What they did show is Anton going back to his room and drinking a bunch of champagne. Unless he was drinking water out of a champagne flute, they made it look like he was downing the alcohol. I saw these comments online that were so funny. They're like, he's a Russian big ass man. You don't think he's gonna be drinking? That's what men do. They drink. But I do think I don't know if I wouldn't be surprised if she exaggerated the amount he drinks. I mean, if you work all night and you get home at 8 in the morning and have a drink, yeah, that's weird. It is. That's weird. But that doesn't mean he drinks too much. That means he drinks at odd hours, right? Because they work odd hours. And maybe that's just been his routine as a single guy, and he can weave off of that, wean off of that. And I don't know. I feel like that was maybe something they could have worked on, but unless there was more that we didn't see, because I never saw him slur or look drunk, right? So I wonder maybe there was more that we didn't see. I just feel bad for his mom. I feel so bad for her. I really liked her, and it was sad. So then we go to Edmund and Calibria. Edmund he creeps me out and I love him at the same time. I don't know how I feel. He makes me feel all these feelings. The moaning and groaning coming out of these two when they talk to each other and they're like, yeah, ooh, oh yeah, ooh, baby, I can't take it. It's like, stop it, you make me so uncomfortable. When they're talking to him before he goes to the ceremony, he's like, do I have cold feet? No, my feet are hot. He's like, he's so funny. Then his teacher, this little white girl lady that was his teacher, and she helped him and she made sure he ate and she pep talked him, and she always kept his spirits high. She came to the wedding and I thought that was so cute. She was it was really cute. Even though he went through foster or whatever, once he found his like foster parents, and he obviously had a lot of support from his teachers, from different people, and that's nice. Um, they get to the wedding and he has his hair pick in. What? Why? Why would you do that at your wedding? Come on, take the stupid hair pick out of your head. That was silly. That's reason enough to say no. She should have just said, "Listen, you're wearing a hair pick on your wedding day. You're not mature enough for me." That would have been very understandable. Um, So Calabria said no. Again, not totally shocked, but I could have seen her saying yes. She said no, and the the sound that came out of him, he goes, "Oh!" He was the sound effects. The sound effects alone. They're just too much. It's too much. They're just a comedy show. I bet you they stay friends though. I feel like she was surprised by his reaction. He took it pretty well. Apart from the moaning and groaning, he didn't flip out, and he made a joke, and he told her how beautiful she looked, and so that was good for him. That was really good on his part. He obviously had a meltdown after, and then he was talking to his teacher friend, and I'm glad she was there for him because his mom wasn't there. I don't think he had any family there. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens at the reunion between them, if they ever talked again, hung out. But that moaning and groaning was so funny, and their hair pick. Then Megan and Jordan. So Megan and Jordan were the ones that everyone thought had the best chance of getting together. And after the finale, and he's like, "Listen, this isn't the pods, and I like to stare at the wall, and I don't want to say anything after work." And it's like, buddy, don't act surprised when she dumps your ass, because I'm sorry. Yes, people get tired from work, especially if you have a sales job. Yes, sometimes people don't want to talk, but you're too early on in this relationship to have that stupid ass attitude. You do that after 5 years. Stop it. Like, you want to impress this girl and you want her to go down the aisle with you, and you can't muster up the energy to have a freaking conversation when you get home from work, leaving her bored to tears watching the wall. Get out of here, Jordan, with your chicken freaking frappuccino. Get out of here with your Crystal Light and your disgusting chicken smoothie. Disgusting. You have no one to blame but yourself. You had a hot girl with money, dumbass, willing to marry you with your little kid that has diabetes, which is an undertaking on its own, and you can't muster up the strength to have conversation when you get home from work. You can't take her to fancy restaurants. You can't go play golf at 12 noon. The least you could do is talk to her after work. That is too much to ask. Get out of here. There's the door. Goodbye, Jordan. Good day, sir. Good day, sir. What are you doing? You have a hot, willing, financially stable woman that's about to buy you a big ass house so your son can have a good life. You can have a good life. Maybe you could switch careers. Maybe you could start working with her. Maybe blah blah blah. And you can't muster up conversation after work. You are not worth it, Jordan. I used to like you. I am going to let the chicken smoothie aside to say this is a no go. This is a no go. The chicken smoothie was disgusting enough, but this is unacceptable. Anybody can muster up the energy to have a freaking conversation. I mean, come on. You want her to submit to a life of you being miserable and not even like talking to her after work every day when she's bored as it is? I don't think so. I would have left your ass too. That's You have it in you. Let's go back to all these serial killers and all these documentaries. They have the where there's a will, there's a way, and they have the energy to dig up graves and clean up blood and do all this stuff. When a man wants to do something, he finds the energy. Stop being a crybaby. You did this to yourself. Period. She had all the right to do that. How dare you not have energy to have conversation with her when you guys are literally 3-4 weeks in of knowing each other? You're supposed to be your best self. This is your best self. It's just going to go downhill. So what? That was bleak for her. The future looked very bleak for her because if you can't do something that's free, which is conversing with her, what the hell? What the hell? No. So she dumped his ass before the wedding. She didn't even want to think about it or try or see how she felt. She's like, I don't see myself. And then she starts blaming herself, saying, maybe I'm just selfish. Maybe I'm not mother material. Maybe I don't know how to, like, whatever. And that pissed me off because she should have said exactly what I just said. I'm sorry. I'm offering you myself, my nice personality. I'm giving this my all. I meet your son. I'm all in. Let's like move to a nicer house. I understand your job, but like I just want some conversation. I don't want to feel like I'm alone in this house every day. And he can't come up with anything better than, I'm just tired. Well, too bad, buddy. If you're tired now, I can't imagine in 5 years. So she should have said that, because that's so understandable. It's like, if you can't put the energy to this to make me marry you, I mean, the bar's low. The bar's really low. And that has nothing to do with you trying to be a good mom. That has nothing to do with how much money he makes. I'm sure if he would have been a better time and more upbeat and not staring at the wall, not wanting to talk, he wouldn't even talk about his job. What is that? That's so weird. She should have said that, because she put too much blame on herself. And then they show at the reunion preview that she's like, I have a surprise. And she was spotted out with a mystery man and a newborn baby that apparently is coming in and out of her house as if he lived in her house. I guess they found out where she lived. And they're thinking maybe she is with someone and had a baby since the show ended, which would be crazy. But I mean, not that crazy. But she looks really good. If she just had a baby, she looks exactly like she used to look. And also, does she live in LA or did she move to Denver? That's interesting, because she lived in LA when she was on the show. Um, and Jordan ate the same. He's one of those guys. He eats the same thing every day. He has a routine. He probably goes to bed at, he has to be up at 9:30. He has to wake up at 4. Those kind of people I can't deal with. I need you to be flexible. I need flexibility. I do like routine, but if you can't be flexible once in a while within that routine, what are we doing here? That's just, I hate people like that. That's why I could never date anyone that's like a marathoner, a stupid cyclist. Sorry to everyone I'm offending, but I could never. I literally could never. If you're wearing spandex in your photo because you're in some sort of competition, I'm out. Left, swipe left, goodbye, good day. No, it's the worst life. I did go on a date like a million years ago with this guy. I dated him like a month, and he was part of this bike club. And we go out to dinner, and he's like, look at his watch, and he's like, not measuring the food, but with his eyes, not a real measure. But those people that are all about what they eat, how much they work out, and it has to be exact. They have to work out every day for an hour, Monday through. It's like, no, be flexible. I find flexible people are much more enjoyable to live with and be around, because that kind of life is not sustainable with another person involved. It's like, how boring. And then he would have to, his bike club would go at 6 in the morning. He had to wake up at 4. It's like, get out of here. This is so stupid. Like, what's the point of this? Um, so yeah, I don't like that. And Jordan seems like that kind of guy. Yeah, he's not flexible. He eats the same thing. He's just like set in his ways, and he's too young for that shit. He needs to loosen up. Okay, being a parent has nothing to do with being boring, because I was a single parent when I was 20, and I was loads of fun. So that's that on Love is Blind. Nobody got married. And we'll see the reunion now, see what happened. And the rumor was that Joe, when he broke up with Madison, immediately started dating Casey, which is the girl that dumped Patrick. And I don't know, maybe if that's a rumor, if it's true, but then now Joe's with someone else. And that girl's like promoting a podcast she's doing with him or something. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see where everyone's at. I am counting on you, Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, to ask the pertinent questions. I know you're gonna let me down, because you always do. And you suck at all the reunions. Do better. I don't know why they can't do better. It's been like 9 seasons already. Jesus. All right. So we'll talk next week. See you next time. Bye.